Come check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh shit. 1, 2. Jesus Christ. All right. All right. Hello, 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 hello. All right. Get this shit on the road. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Come on, come on. Where are you? All right. Okay. Shit, my mic ain't jack. Damn. My mic is not jack. Camera's all screwed up. Yeah. And here we go. And everything falling up. Oh, my face is there closely. Look at all my frail skin. Look at me, I'm hideous. All right. All right. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Let's see. Christ, my audio is kind of jammed up. I'm sorry, guys. It's that my audio is a bit jammed up. I need to get another set of headsets. It's just not working. My audio is not really working. And the way it's playing, it's just kind of weird. And it's very distorted. God damn it. It's distorting. It's distorting. You see that? It's distorted. Christ. My God. Just how simple it has to be. It's just terrible music. You know what? No, I'm not gonna go for. I want to listen to the people. All right. Anyway, okay, let's just. All right. And there you go. It's lost. Okay. All right. Enough with the chitter chatter. Enough with the chitter chatter. Enough with the chitter chatter. Trying to get this shit going on. How's it going, everybody? All right. Sorry about the whole thing. I'm sorry about this whole technical difficulties and this kind of stuff. Uh, I'm terribly sorry about it. The audio, my headphones are starting to fade away a bit. These are headphones I got. These are like free headphones from the boat show. Sorry. Um, how's it going? My name is Eleanor Reptile. I'm a digital artist, illustrator, graphic designer, etc., a reactionaire as well, YouTuber, everything else on social media. Welcome to my latest stream. Today is Monday, the 28th. 2 days away until August. Oh man, 2 days away until August. You know what that means, right? Yeah, I know what that means. You do know what that means. That's for sure. You do know what that really means. But today it's I didn't make any streams today because I was on vacation. Um, just last weekend, I had the obligation to go to be invited by my cousin's wedding in Fernandina Beach in Florida, which is like 40 minutes up of the city of Jacksonville. And we had great memories. I'm very happy with my primo who had a long, long relationship with the girl he found. He served in the Marines. I'm very happy that he found the one. You know, I promise my family. I promise to him too that I hopefully find someone with the same storylines as he is. He is now on a new chapter. Uh, we were celebrating his wedding. The family reunited. My abuelita also came in. She's like 102 years old. She's and she can still get up. Crazy enough, she can still get up. That tells me something. I have to that I will work on it. I'm hoping. I know that she may not be around if I also have a son or a daughter. That's a very nice part of life, even though we're at a certain time where it's just impossible to have a child, nor the mentality or the idea of having a child is even implemented to many of our youngsters. That's something that has to be heard about because it's dying. Yes, we live in a horrible economy and all that good stuff. We live in a horrible economy. We live in a time where we're even getting censorship today, just like recently, like in the UK, we're getting these crazy stories and these it's just insanity happening. But and it's something we just can't avoid. So to just that vacation I had at both Fernandina Beach and to my and Miami, back to Miami, Florida, um, to like spend some time outside, with my brother and his friends because they haven't seen each other in a matter of 3 years. So it parlay. It's about time today see each other. It's about good time they see each other. I have my friends to see. He has his friends to see. And finally, I get to hang out with my brother in the 305. So that's something. It's something worth memorable. And I hope I wish my cousins and my family member, and his girlfriend, and I met his girlfriend already, and she was pretty. She was top set. So I wish him the best to be for his new chapter. I wish him the best for his new stage of life. And if he can, he can. If he not, no, it's okay. It's okay. It was a long time coming. They met each other in the Marines for, and they had their relationship for the past 7 years. So that's a long time. I'm happy of him. I'm very happy of him. I hope, I hope to, I hope to God that I find someone with the same, with the same interests as I have, and I stick with her. And I do my dedication on as well of helping her and her dedication helping me. It's a wish, although maybe not. My brother, on the other hand, chose to be a lone wolf because he can do whatever he wants. I I will not stop him. I will not stop him. I will not stop. It's a pretty good thing to see. But as of now, I had to. We're the today's live stream right now, which I am going to be. I just recently found out about clipping. I know. Call me the youngest boomer out there. Um, yeah, I found out about clipping. Today. The title, which you're seeing right now, uh, what's going on today, has to be addressed, and I'm willing to make a big video about this because this is something that has to be talked about. You know, although I had to see many things for fuck's sake. I've heard about lots of crazy things that went down, and I had to record a lot. And I mean a lot. Though I do have to finish some things. Probably the few times we're gonna see before we get, I'm getting censored. And you know what? Fuck it. I want. If I get canceled, if that is the case, I mean, I don't have that many followers. Honestly, I don't have many. I don't even have followers. I like what 84 subscribers on my YouTube. I have 500 people on my channel, in my Instagram. That's something. Hell yeah, that says something, at least. But what's going on today is something related, and today is the day that that needs to be talked about. Something that needs to be. This is an emerg. That is, I would that I kindly would say that this is an emergency. I kindly, I kindly say that this is an emergency. I, from what happened yesterday in the United Kingdom, what happened yesterday in the United Kingdom was um was such a was such a high key blow to the face of free speech, to the face of the world, that is actually happening around the world. And I'm on Twitter right now, and we're gonna be seeing a lot of videos, and I'm gonna be talking about this thing very greatly. I want to be talking about this very greatly. See, what went down was that since we're in such a turbulent time, if I don't know, I've never watched this anime that's called Shimoneta. I've heard about. Actually, I've seen clips of it. So what is Shimoneta is the it's an Shimoneta is the anime is a well-known anime on Crunchy on various TVs. I've watched many clips of Shimoneta. I probably did watch one full episode of Shimoneta on YouTube. It's an edgy comedy classic back in 2018, I think, and it's about a world where um such like explicit content is considered banned. It is banned throughout all over the world, and it's considered like a criminal felony charge, right? So what hap- and whenever and anybody who's kind of holds any more of the such adult content, you get arrested and all that kind of stuff. People are basically censorship. It's basically absolute censorship. So th- that's what the premise is about Simonetta, and then there's of course there's a the cast of kids or cast of kids. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, yep. My bad. No, it's not about that, but it's about about a bunch of people that are trying to like who have trying to break away this censorship. But in the premises of it, it's about the censoring of adult content. However, which is it's supposed to be an anime. It's supposed to be just for entertainment to laugh. Now it's something that just can't that these something that this cannot just go away. Now it's gotten real. It's gotten very serious. So up to a point where that you have uh even Elon Musk against this. I mean, this all started because of a bunch of Karens who think that they're protecting for children, who think that they can, run around and cancel things that are considered too risque for children, right? That in the internet, while bro, like, which children shouldn't even have the internet on the first hand, or shouldn't check, or they have not even filtered, or they have not checked the under supervision of their own children firsthand. They never hold the baby or whatever. This is this is extremely happening in this is happening just right now. Man, I keep stuttering, right? I keep really stuttering. I'm just trying, like I'm drawing and I'm doing this, so that's why. But I was gonna draw originally Fishojo. This illustration I'm trying to do is actually Element Reptile slashing off Fishojo. That right now is going to be switched to something else now. Hmm. Shit. But I'm gonna stop playing music right now. I'm gonna stop playing music because this needs to be addressed. Like I said, Shima, look, this right here. Yes. It's crazy that right now that people think they can get away with this and not knowing the consequences. People think they're getting away with this and not knowing the consequences. I mean, check this out right here. Look at this. So, this is what's happening, man. Just today here in the U.S., which is similar, to what happened in the United Kingdom was was this. So it's called the Kids Online Safety Bill, the Kids Online Safety Act, which is basically the same thing that is the online safety Act in the United Kingdom, back in the UK. It protects. It's a way to kind of monitor and use ID on like on minors, on children and minors who might be at peril of finding out or being lured by adult content on the internet. This be like when you first hear this sounds reasonable. It sounds reasonable, but then there are there are many things, there are many stuff right here. I think they just originally just clicked it out. Yeah, man. There are right here. Look here, covered platform. You see things like this, right? Compulsive usage. In turn, the compulsive usage means any response simulated by external factors that causes individual to engage in repetitive behavior reasonably likely to cause physical distress, loss of control, anxiety, or depression. That's right. The term child means an individual who's under the age of 13. Right. An individual who's under the age of 13. Okay. Then cover platform here. This one, that completely threatens free speech. Completely threatens free speech. The term covered platform means an online platform, online video game, messaging application, or video streaming service that connects to the internet that is used or is reasonably likely to be used by a minor. So let's be let's be real here. Okay, I, you're not protecting kids. Like, these people are not protecting kids, honestly. You give me all these laws that I have very little patience to read about, because I know that, yeah, this may sound good on the surface, or reality has become a vague thing. Look at this. Like there's a lot of rules and regulations when you read this that is on behalf of protecting kids and preventing children, you know, from entering adult content by literally having the entire government actually censor and actually putting identifications that's happening in the UK to verify whether you're the age of 18 over or not, which is absolute just insanity. Because it, it's 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 not it's not the internet's fault that Sick is doing this. It's the parents. It's the lack of parent control. Or better yet, how about this? Imagine this. If I am willing to persuade a law that um that I is that helps kids, right? This is gonna help kids whether you like it or not. You know, on behalf, like, for the public. There are ways out there to use on behalf of VPN and filter access security. Like, for example, there was one uh, option in your cell phone where it does have a search parental ID, or like passcode for for to allow to kind of filter, to kind of turn on and off the option of you know anything that is risque content or so, right? In public internet, so your child can go look at the internet safely. That is that is already there. Another one could be this. If I was if I have a child who is 8 years old, who whether a son or a daughter, she wants my internet, right? I What I would do is I would develop a passcode to turn off and on the filter options, so my child won't wind up watching B&B Pain Olympics or Pornhub corn, because originally it's about them trying to attack, like, against, like, sexual content, all that good stuff. But however, it's so vague. Like, it's like there's many things out there. It's so vague. Thanks to fucking Collective Shout. Thank you, Collective Shout. You completely created a police state in the UK. Congratulations. You have lost free speech. You have completely took everyone's free speech, including yours from free speech, in Australia. And now, thank you, too. You should be held accountable for now that our censorship is going all over the world, including the United States. Including the United States. The like I like how, like, this kind of stuff, this kind of bill, this kind of thought of, think about the children. Think about the children, protect the children, protect the babies, this, and that, right? Is reasonable, but it's also used as an excuse to control and monitor people's data, monitor people's privacy. Like the CCP. I wondered if the guys like the CCP even use or coin the terms of protection for of the children in their country while they're committing crimes all over. I wonder, because this shit is absolutely just batshit crazy insane. Honestly, this shit is actually batshit crazy. I'll give you another one. Look. Like the online video game. What the fuck is this? Look at this. Rules of construction. Nothing in subparagraph shall be contributed by a covert platform with actual knowledge or knowledge fairly applied on the basis of objective circumstances that any individual is under the age of 17 from delivering advertising or marketing that is age appropriate for the individual involved, intended for a teen and child, as applicable, as long as the covered platform does not use any personal data other than whether the user is under age of 17 to deliver such advertising or marketing. Right? Okay. Know who knows. The term know or knows means that I have to have actual knowledge or knowledge fairly implied on the basis of objective circumstances. Mental health disorder, da 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 da. Yet the minor means an individual who is under the age of 17. Which first, hold on a second. It's first you said under the minor is under the age of 13. Now you're saying the age of 17. Who's who? Now this one is something I don't like. Online platform. The term online platform means any public-facing website, online service, online application, or mobile application that predominantly provides a community forum for the user-generated content such as sharing videos, images, games, audio files. I mean, games. We're talking about games. We're talking about audio files or other content, including a social media service, social media network, or virtual reality environment. Then it's the online video game. This is the one that is literally threatening the whole world.
The term online video game means a video game including an educational video game that connects to the internet that allows the user to create, upload content, and engage in this and this and that. Incorporates minor specific advertising. Parent, the term include a natural parent, a legal guardian, or an individual with legal custody over a minor. Personal data means this. So they basically are including this and monitoring us, monitoring privacy. They're straight up monitoring your privacy. They're straight up monitoring your data, your own opinions, your comments. So basically, they're going to check around comments, posts, images, videos that they say that could be seen as harmful towards children, while reality is not. While reality is not. You can, like, isn't this the hypocrisy to this is that they're saying this is going to protect children from such influences, yet they don't even brought justice for the minors that were inside the in P Diddy's freak off parties or in the Epstein Island thing, which I don't want to talk about too much because there's too many people talking about it. But it's true. But without a doubt, they're gonna just throw that away, dude. We got a president who sat next to Epstein. He said, "I never was invited to his party." Next thing you're gonna hear, he doesn't even exist. Oh God, we living in a crazy, crazy, destructive, cyberpunk ass world, bro. We live in the apocalypse, bro. This is the end times, bro. This is the end times, and this is happening. This law, it's not specific. It's not. No, it's not even not specific. It's just unconstitutional, almost illegal. They legally are committing a crime. These people are legally committing crimes to our own freedom of speech. That's all it is. You're legally committing, like, this law is legally committing crimes on our freedom of speech and freedom of creativity, artistic freedom. And I I don't know what I'm going to draw next because I don't really draw such things. I don't really draw much sexual stuff or even violent stuff. But hey, I draw the fan service. That's what I do. But this is something else, man. No, no, this is something I'm not falling for. It's the Child Online Safety Act, right? These these things are included. Because look, they're trying to talk. They're trying to stop, sexual child trafficking and all that stuff online or the influence. No, 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 no. This is all a lie. This is all a lie. This is all a lie. No, because I know at heart that guys like this, like him, like look at his comment. His comment right here. Unless if you can see it while I'm drawing. Look, let's be on Rob Moore. Let's be honest. The Online Safety Act has nothing to do with safety. It's about surveillance, censorship, control. Britain has just became the most heavily policed internet state in the West. This isn't protection. This is digital. It's a digital dystopia. Yes, that's what's happening in the UK. This same law that's here in the United States is the sequel to what's happening back in the UK. In a way, as a gaslight. This is a gaslight. It's covered up in the same. We got to protect the children, right? Yet they don't even talk about the children already being raped and murdered in the islands. They don't address or talk about fucking the migrant children that were trafficked by the coyotes in the Tapón de Darien in the Darien Gap. They don't talk about that. Instead, they want to mind about the harmful influences that might damage kids' minds. which in turn, fictional content. Why would you do that? Like, why would these people be so like frightened about fictional content that does not harm you? It does not harm people. If you think that is harmful to you or towards your kids, first don't watch it. Stay away from it. Go to another place. Now you you have guys like you have these Karens like Collective Shout. You have Karen. You have these feminist groups like going like on T app and all that bullshit. Just forcing like censorship. Until then, once it comes after them, once it comes after them, then they're like, oh no, I can't say this too. I can't say my freedom of speech too. So now they're putting themselves in danger too. Welcome to the fucking wagon, bitch. You just played yourself. You literally played yourself. Let's see what else in here. This is from the response on Martis Istis 92. More rules for law-abiding citizens. Criminals, drug addicts, shoplift, burgle, and break into vehicles. Yet police show little interest. Like much of Western culture, inept police focus on the perception of solving crime, not addressing the crimes the public wants solved. This is in the United Kingdom. They basically censored the living shit out of it. Right now. They just they just blocked X. They literally to just today they just blocked X over there in the UK. You want to like I can show you what it looks like. I can show you kind of what it looks like along the way. Right here. This is what's happening. Look at all the posts right here. This is what it looks like in X. When you want to see, whatever content, whether it's, corn, hentai, or not corn and hentai, maybe just a bit of fan service or an illustration or a certain story that covers a very mature theme. This is happening. And to people who kind of celebrate this shit, that thinking that get that shit out of the way, protect the babies and rid all filth and all bad thoughts in the name of God. I hate that shit. I hate that shit when they try to use the name of God because they're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. I hate that shit so hard. Yeah, don't put God into your own mouth if you're doing the same shit. If you are a true Puritan of God, you are a true Puritan of the Almighty Creator, right? Then you gotta stop cursing. You gotta stop smoking weed. You gotta stop doing drugs. You gotta stop doing all that stuff. But yet again, you want to bring out the fact that like He chooses the sinners, right? Then that's not my religion at all. Which is happening with what happened in Collective Shop, that people thought that these are these woke liberal Karens that are trying to who finds these kinds of games like very games like Stellar Blade, for example. Like Stellar Blade, they see Stellar Blade as this gooner, Stellar Blade as this sort of gooner material, gooner propaganda. This is something very goonery, gooner games made by Sakima-chan and all that good stuff, right? It's all gooner games here. Like this is gonna be harmful. It's not. It's fake. But they won't talk about. They really won't talk about, and I'm not afraid to put this on my live stream. I'm not to put this. I'm not afraid because I have very little followers. They're gonna put this. They're gonna put stuff like this. No, they're gonna put stuff like this. Cuties. My bad. Yeah, they're gonna put They're gonna defend. They're gonna defend this, right? They're going to defend this disgusting Netflix ass, like this pedophile ass, this documentary that has real children in it, right? They won't talk about this. They won't talk about the Epstein list, right? They won't talk about the P Diddy shit. This is the most hardline diddler shit, right? But they won't. But they're gonna willing to can wanted to cancel stuff like stuff like Stellar Blade. They're willing to cancel Stellar Blade. They're gonna willing to cancel characters like this, or they're willing to cancel, um, VTubers. You know, this shit is insane. Yeah, I'm bringing it out. Big Brother's watching. Look, the UK, United Kingdom right now. The United Kingdom right now. Look, they're saying that as in the topic we're talking about. I'm trying to talk about is they're trying to stop like NSFW content that kids might get caught up watching. Well, which is at one hand, yeah, it's true, but there has to be regulations. But it's such a vague title. It's such a vague title because then you're gonna have there's some good movies. You're gonna have movies like The Expendables that has violence in it. You're gonna have uh, very classic films that I'm pretty sure these baby boomers have watched before, but they didn't understand it. The Terminator. Let's talk about their baby boomers' favorite pop culture kind of movies back in the 1980s. We have movies made in Universal that had explicit content or had such jokes or references that are explicit. Back in the 1950s, you had cartoons like Tom and Jerry. Back into Disney too, where you have cartoons, they would actually animate characters, do things that are mature, like smoking, a few little, kind of lingering a bit, but nothing all too explicit that is being shown in front of children. It's, you know, the kids didn't know that, but it's there. And nobody batted an eye. Nobody batted a fucking eye until now. Thanks until the internet came. And I wish people will understand that this does not end on what you're up against. This does not end there. Everybody, and I mean everybody, on here on X, here on YouTube, that they are all speaking about it. They're all speaking about it. Look, this one right here. I know there's a petition to go against UK's Online Safety Act, but did people actually click the Learn More button on the censorship? It's UK's Online Safety Act, Irish Online Safety Code, European Union Digital Services Act. We got petitions for the other ones too. Literally, this is throughout Europe. Throughout Europe. Right? I mean, they're like it's a meant they're saying, and this is all meant to kind of to delete all kinds of goonery that's happening around the internet, right? It's meant to delete all kinds of goonery, degeneracy, uh, even like some of the darkest themes out there. It's meant to delete all of that shit. It's really meant to delete all that shit. But that's a lie. It's a fucking lie. Honestly, it's a fucking lie. Because if that is the case, then it would have been only verification in Basically, only on the porn sites. But no. Instead, they decided to go broad. They went broad with this shit. It's now going all over the world. Look at this. This guy right here said it. From Lucian Wolf. Elon Musk said it out loud. But the writing's been on the wall for months. The UK Online Safety Act isn't about safety. It's a censorship weapon dressed in virtue. Pair it with ID verification. ID verification, just speak. Arrests over hate speech without trial. VPNs, right? As of today, they're attacking VPNs. They're literally attacking VPNs. Some that are not even fucking strong enough. McAfee. They would even attack VPN McAfees that are certified strong to not only to protect yourself from data information, data intrusion, to even viruses, right? And now you got yourself a digital prison with a velvet cover. What's more chilling? These aren't laws for terrorists or criminals. They're for everyday Brits who dare to question. So, who's actually being kept safe? Let that sink in. Yes. Let that sink in. Yes. Which is exactly why this is happening. Look, this one. I got this one right here. I got this. Second. I got this thanks to Chibi Reviews, who is also addressing this. Like, because this shit is out of control. This shit cannot happen, man. This shit cannot happen. Let's hear it from him. Hold up. Let's hear it from him right now.
And of course, mouthwashing got yoinked from itch search results. Not surprised, was kinda waiting for it to happen. To be clear, itch has been backed into a corner and had no other option. The issue lies with MasterCard, Visa, and with Collective Shout, who pushed payment processors to do this. Your anger should be directed towards them. You remember that slippery slope I was talking about and how people that were fine with adult games being banned? Well, horror games are being targeted now, and it's going to get much worse before it gets any better. Dude, this story is evolving day by day, honestly, hour by hour at this point. It's getting worse and worse. In just this last week alone, like, I made a post talking about this, but in this last week alone, so much has happened. I mean, you can pause the video and read this for yourself. Like, this is just a brief summary of events in the last week and a half. That's not including what, V here even commented on other stuff that is related to the topic that has happened too. It is legitimately horrifying just how much is getting censored. It is reaching all forms of entertainment, and every government seems to be trying to get itself involved in this. You have payment processors obviously involved, you have activist groups involved. It is back to back, and at this point, anyone assuming it's not going to affect you is just lying to themselves, because it is affecting everybody on every side of entertainment, the left, the right, down the middle. It's affecting adult games, non-adult games, it's affecting anime, it's affecting manga, it's affecting books, it's affecting the internet, it's affecting Wikipedia.
Yes, all of that is happening right now. It's affecting it. It's affecting it. Ichio, what happened to Ichio is what happened to Ichio and Steam, 100 video games were completely deleted. 100 video games that were 18 plus related, but also not 18 plus. We're talking about mature, like Call of Duty games, certain horror games. Yes, like he said, horror games were being removed. We're talking about various games and books were being removed. Shit, even certain kids' books are being removed. Think of it. Certain children's books are being removed for certain messages that is actually meant to teach kids to watch what you're doing, what's right and what's wrong. It's meant to teach kids what's right and what's wrong. Now, we're not going to have that. We're absolutely not going to have that. No, we're not going to have that anymore. It's meant to, like this is getting out of hand. Like, it's absolutely getting out of hand, right? Let's continue. Let's continue with this.
It's affecting so many different things, which is just, it's crazy. Just like I said, this is stuff that's happened in just the last week and a half. Insane. So let's talk about mouthwashing first, because I think it's very important to the subject matter before I go into anything else. Those that thought that the censorship would stop at, let's say, adult content or adult games, for instance, stuff like on Steam that has, like, let's say, incest games or stuff that just shows nudity, it's very clear that it wouldn't stop there. Anyone that actually has a working frontal lobe or working brain would have known this, but obviously there is a lot of people that truly believe before this happened that it was never going to affect anything they love or enjoy. But it's clear that now censorship is creeping its way into the horror game category on, itch.io, and most likely Steam will be soon to follow as well. It's only a matter of time until maybe stuff like Coffin of Andy and Lele is, targeted too, but let's talk about strictly mouthwashing and the individual that is breaking this news to everyone to see. So this individual here, Martin, is someone that has actively worked on the game. He's made the music of mouthwashing, and for those that are unaware of mouthwashing, I'm going to get you up to speed, but for those that are aware of it, or have played the game, or watch content creators talk about the game, even Asmongold has talked about the game, then you're probably aware of this individual. You probably even recognize this Twitter account, and I will explain that in a moment. But this is someone that's worked on mouthwashing, that is a very popular horror indie game, psychological, that just made a lot of waves on the internet. And around that same time, there was some art controversy, and Asmongold talked about it, and this was the response that Martin made to Asmongold when he found out that Asmongold was talking about the art controversy and people being harassed for making art of mouthwashing. This is what Martin, aka the same individual that, is upset that mouthwashing was removed, this is what they said a few months back. They said, the anti-woke crowd has found the game, and I feel sick to my stomach being on Twitter. It's going to be unbelievably painful from now on, that I don't know if I can be active on here. I don't have the energy for this. Now, as you can see by the timestamp, this happened in November of last year, so definitely more than just a few months, but it still is relatively within a year time frame. Basically, this game, apparently, as you can see from the musician himself that made the music for mouthwashing, was very against content creators like Asmongold or anyone that had, like, certain takes like Asmongold. Regardless if you agree or disagree with this, the point of the matter is that this individual that obviously is very, like, let's say, like, left-leaning, someone that, doesn't want, like, the anti-woke crowd getting into their games, basically, they now have their game being censored. Now, one thing needs to be stated before I go any further. I heavily disagree with what Martin said here, and a lot of people obviously disagree with a lot of his statements after this as well. But even then, I'm not going to celebrate the fact that mouthwashing was censored. I'm not going to celebrate the fact that it was delisted from itch.io because I disagree with a creator, because I disagree with, what they said online. If I advocate for this censorship of mouthwashing, then I'm no better than anyone else that just is pro-censorship. The thing is I'm not going to advocate for censorship of this content. In fact, I am still going to fight for mouthwashing to be uncensored and allowed to exist on a platform. Because, as I've been saying, it's fictional content.
It is. All of this shit is fictional content. I would have to, when I was going to my vacation with my brother online, into Miami, I opened up a few things about things that I liked. I said it in a jokerful way. I understand he's my older brother. He cares about me. He's trying to be as Puritan as he is. But but he kind of also brought this concern about some of the things that I draw, the things that I like, right? And he reacted in such a way that was just almost, I would say, almost exaggerated that this can addle my brain, like ruin my life and all that good stuff, but just because I like, hentai content, or NSFW drawings or animations. And look, I told him, listen, I'm not convincing you to like what I like. Okay? I know I'm weird that way, right? He's like, I don't like that kind of weird. I don't like your weird. This is gonna, you don't know what's reality or not. Like he pushed at it. He pushed at it on me. My brother, my older brother, reacted in such a way, you know. Yet, like this could kill you. This can, like, as like this fear, like this concern. And he said it in such a upset way that I don't know why he's upset about. Yet, yeah, you know, if he's smoking weed, he's taking Xan, he's taking a few bumps. I mean, I did shrooms. Shit, I did shrooms with him. But he tried to find a way. Like when I was in Miami, we said, "Listen, look, we're going to Miami. We're going to give you some pussy. Like we're going to get you some pussy tonight. Like to kind of, I hope that helps. You need pussy, boy. You need some, there's some good pussy, boy. Although we're going to smoke this shit up because vamos a bailar, that kind of stuff. That I already got laid. Listen, I got laid. Nothing changed. I like what I like, and I draw what I draw. Whether it's risque, nudity, sex, or to mainstream, I draw a lot of illustrations that are not sexual. Lots of illustrations that are not sexual. It's my own way of thinking. It's my own freedom of speech. It's my freedom of liking. I watch anime and all that stuff. I guess because he's a more of a millennial, he's more of an extroverted and millennial, so that probably tells why. And a lot, and listen, I'm not saying that I deserve to be an incel, but I have my personal liking views, and I was willing to open of it, and he reacted in such a way that like that kind of literally contradicts against me. Like I have you like what you like. I like what I like. And they're both sins. They're both sinry. And until we met my friend, his best friend, that brought that out. Yeah, I do Patreon and all that stuff, right? Yeah, you pay good on that specific content. Then it hits him. And it's like, look, if you want to do it, you just understand that this is like that shit is it's gonna it's gonna fuck up your brain, bro. I don't want my baby brother to fall down and be like a fucking incest, big panty and bullshit. He exaggerated in such a way, bro. Relax. They're drawings, like which exactly what is happening to all these YNs. Yep. I have a nasally I have a stuffed nose. I'm sorry about that. But the YNs, um, the BBLs sometimes that never watch anime or watch any animation or has no exposure to soft power pop culture that we like, that I watch. The only pop culture they watch is hard nigga shit like fucking like Breaking Bad, Narcos, Gangland, Love is Blind, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like I have nothing wrong with that. I have nothing wrong with that. I have nothing wrong with that. I respect my brother. I love my older brother till the day he died. Till not the day he died. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. Until the afterlife. And I spent lots of good times with him and lots of good times with my family. You know, I and and we wish the best of him. Earning this. I inherit this is his room, and I inherited his room as a studio. And I'm glad I will never have that. I have a brother as gullible, as lovable, even though he sometimes acts like an asshole, and we joke about it. We still ride and die. And man, we he's my biological brother, and that love it will never be broken. And I love you, my brother. I love you. But when we talked about that, but he and I talked about that topic, it was an example. It's kind of an example of what happened with the majority of all happened on that half of Twitter, on that half of social media, on that half of YouTube. Normies. What I'm talking about. Normies. I'm talking about normies. I got a friend too in Miami, that also came from Miami too, um, that had that opinion. What's gonna happen now? But what's gonna happen now because of this? Because such fucking frantic react, like fucking feelings that get hurt, like sensitive, soft ass feelings, like bitch ass feelings, because of a drawing, a video game that was animated through by hands, craftsmanship, and takes years of creativity. Just because there's a few adult scenes, just because of flash of titty, it's in a hip hop. It's also a hip that now we're gonna censor it. They have no idea. My brother and everyone else who finds this as the center of justice, especially YNs, fans of Aiden Ross, or Poking Me too, who is very feminist. A lot of the feminists too, who are like on the far left, to the male Christian, crusade Knight Templars of the far right too. They're gonna have very little fucking knowledge that their video games, the things that they like, including crime, fucking Scarface, is gonna be silenced. All you people in Miami who are normies, who are fans of Fresh and Fit, your shit's gonna get censored. I hope you feel where we're gonna feel when your video games are gonna be unallowed, are gonna have fucking verification thanks to this shit. Cause like it's gotta stop, man. This shit's gotta stop. This is never protecting about children. It was never protecting about children. I don't care how many good posts on Twitter about guys who are going to prison after tracking like child molesters who will be rightfully killed by them. Killed, yeah. Which that part I agree with. Yeah, if there's content and videos of actual children being shown on social media, like actual children on social media, or wherever, on whatever site, actually being sexually abused or being, then like don't even put them jail time. Don't even put them trial on the death penalty. Fucking open season them. Put open season on that person. Fucking hang his balls on meat hooks and skin him alive on a light post so the world to see what happens when you do the child molesters. But also include people who use censorship as a tool to silence freedom of speech. Do that the same way to elites, rich ass people who don't give the free health care to people in need, who many died of cancer, many died of diseases but because the price was too high. Do the same thing to bank processors who are now stripping away creative freedom. Better yet, two, since we're talking about skinning pedophiles alive, let's skin alive two serial killers. Let's skin alive two fucking, yeah, cannibals. People who commit the most heinous shit. But they're not gonna. But they're only one they're gonna talk about is protecting the kids. Protecting the kids, right, from pedophiles. I'm not afraid to say it. PDF. But I have very few followers, bro. I have very few followers. So I could say whatever I could say. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And yeah. Let's get back to it.
Not real, doesn't exist, doesn't hurt no one, and just because it has uncomfortable themes, taboo storylines, or anything like that does not mean it shouldn't exist. And so, regardless of Martin's statement here, and maybe if he was an idiot or he is an idiot for making these statements, it's not going to change me fighting for anti-censorship and fighting for anime, manga, and games and books and everything to not be censored. So, I'm just going to say that right now. So, for those that are going to be quick to trying to cheer for mouthwashing being censored, do not do that, because that's exactly what payment processors, what these activist groups, and what these governments want you to do. They want you to fight amongst others and pick sides for you're distracted and don't actually talk about the real issue, which is obviously these payment processors and government overreach. UK is now requesting American companies like Rumble, for instance, to censor themselves for the UK's laws of Online Safety Act to protect kids. Now, I already made a big video on this topic the other day. I'm not going to be retreading old ground and discussing everything I did in those videos and everything that the UK government and other governments have been doing. What I mainly want to say here is that the UK has obviously tried to now, instead of just affecting their people within their country, they're trying to press their will to other countries as well, and trying to get politicians, lawmakers, companies and stuff within America to do the exact same thing, aka censor fictional content, to censor the internet, to request age verification, all these different type of things. And it's clear that this, politician right here, Jim, is trying to fight back against this. You can even see him making a thread and talking about this. So it's very clear that he doesn't like what the UK is trying to do. But the point of the matter is that UK is not stopping just at the country, which has already kind of been obvious. I mean, Europe is affected already. There's many people now within social media platforms that are finding out that they no longer can access the internet properly, even if they don't live in UK, they just live in Europe, and they need either age verification or other ways to get around it, maybe VPNs, which is the next topic to talk about, VPN crackdown. So a lot of people in Europe and even UK has been trying to circumvent the restricted internet with the Online Safety Act with VPNs, and anyone that has been on YouTube or online in general has probably heard of VPNs, like NordVPN and stuff. I'm not a sponsor, just saying. But basically, people have heard about VPNs being able to change your region and all that to be able to bypass, certain restrictions of countries. You hear this all the time. However, apparently the United Kingdom, UK is trying to block or ban VPNs to some degree. They have apparently requested Cloudflare, that is a big server hosting for some VPNs and stuff, to effectively stop allowing VPNs, which is a pretty big deal. So basically, UK is trying to get around or try to stop people from getting around their law with VPNs, which is a huge problem. That is a big deal. Like, that is insane. But then we also know that Europe is going to be doing the exact same thing. There is a law that is in place now within Europe, and sites have a certain amount of time to be able to place in age restrictions in Europe. So Europe is probably going to soon to follow this as well when it comes to VPNs. And that's not even getting into the fact of Australia. Australia is also doing the exact same thing that apparently is going to be happening like later this year or next year or whatever. I don't know the exact time frame, but they already have a law in place that's going to be becoming law, for doing the exact same thing that the UK has done. And then obviously that's not even talking about the bill that's currently in Congress for the United States that is trying to get passed as well to restrict the internet too. So
it's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's just going worldwide. This is not about the left or the right. This is never about the left or the right. This is literally the fat cats from the top and the little pups on the back. Like the fat cats on the top and the poor, the rich versus the poor. This is some oligarchical. This is literally the CCP. This is how North Korea does it. This is how the CCP has done it in their country. You know, with their ways, they have their own websites, but they have lots and lots and lots of censorship. In North Korea, they don't even know the outside world. That's how bad it is. They literally don't know the outside world. That's how bad it is. This is exactly what's going on. This is the exact censorship. They're gonna censor basically non-realistic things like Mortal Kombat, like Star Wars, like Pokemon that is not harmful for children. They're gonna censor um they're gonna censor adult content. They're gonna censor eroges. Yes, they're gonna censor things like that. But they're also censoring horror. They're probably censoring mystery. They're censoring suspense. They're gonna censor everything. What are we going to play? What do I have to play? What do I must, enjoy to watch? Fuck your ideology. I'm not gonna be that. Fuck your censorship. Nah, that's what everyone's saying. Fuck your censorship. That's what the whole world is saying. Honestly.
It's back-to-back stuff that is just getting worse and worse as time goes on, as we can clearly see. And obviously, those that think they can get around this by using VPNs, it's very obvious that it's not going to be a solution much longer. Now, I don't think they'll be able to ban every single VPN. There'll probably always be some form of workarounds. But the point of the matter is that these governments are also now trying to, at the very least, go after VPNs, which is a big deal. Now, what gets much worse about this whole situation is this. So, my good friend Rumblings, he showcased this. This is where I first found out. But apparently, the United Kingdom responded to the petition to repeal the Online Safety Act. For those that don't know what's going on here, basically, the Online Safety Act, which I've been discussing, is what's restricting the internet, in the UK. So, residents in United Kingdom, they put a petition to basically say, hey, you need to repeal this, and force the government to respond. Well, after 355,000 signatures from individuals in the United Kingdom, you had the government finally respond. You can see the response here, and the response as follows. Basically, to just summarize this giant paragraphs, is that, oh, we hear you, we know you're upset, but think of the children. That's pretty much what they said. They just did a long, giant word diarrhea of just saying, we're not going to listen to you, screw you, we are protecting the children, it doesn't matter, and we will continue to do what we're doing, and basically becoming a police state.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. I don't know if you hear, this is the same tactic that they did. If you listen to China Observer, you listen to David, like China Insider with David Shang, this is censorship. This is straight up censorship. And they will use, so this is like, this happened in Venezuela, if you heard about Venezuela. So they basically talked about how they would use a assertive ploy, like something that is very valuable, very important, right? In in the name of politics, and this happened there, right? They seized all the moment of free speech, although it was quite recorded. Though it was quite recorded, or let's just say this back in China. Let's say this is in China. You don't have any free speech. They would hide. They would do something. They would permit something that at random that is pretty much illegal, right? But then they will present it in a way as of something positive. Yeah, I mean, Yao Ming Park, I think when she fled North Korea, she did spoke about how when it comes to like like those hard Marxism, Maoism countries around the world, they would take over your place. They would silence you. They will seize your private property. They will do everything they can against you in the name of, assuring peace. That's what's happening here. They're saying it's for the children. It's for the children. Is it really for the children? Is it really for the children? Are the children, in danger of seeing the internet? Or is it not the parents who lack their duty to supervise them? Or better yet, again, I said it before, is the other way is the ID access. It's the search access. Search access in children that would prevent children to go into like various adult sites or mature sites. There is literally actual like automated options in your cell phone. So when your kids go use the internet, they don't need to see a certain, content. They see a certain like porn website basically. Yeah. But no. They decided that this is happening. Like no, hell no. Don't. They would say this in their grace of God. Nah, they would never, don't ever put religion to this, because even this law is going to censor religion. Think of that. It's going to censor some various parts in Bibles, in content on YouTube that are religion, that are part of religion. Think of that. This is going to silence. This is going to censor, everything. It's going to censor everything. I'm not going to be down with this shit. This is straight up attacking freedom of speech, basically. It's straight up attacking freedom of speech. And that's what's happening in the United Kingdom. Back in London. That's happening in almost all over the world. In Australia. Because you got activists and payment processors are pulling the ladder over whatever they can do or not, because they're not a monopoly. That's which is another fact too. This whole monopoly that also bends the knees to these, activists who are a bunch of Karens or Puritans who wants to do something, who wants to protect children, while in reality they are censoring and oppressing freedom of opinion, artists, craftsmanships. If you do not like what you like, don't watch it. If you have, parenthood, you make sure that your child, go see something positive. Besides, kids are not supposed to use the internet. Or kids should be regulated strictly over a certain amount of time on the internet. I think that I could say that, because even when I was a kid, everybody was using the computer. Everybody was using websites like Cool Math Games, Newgrounds, yes, Miniclip, some play E-Bombs World. Those back in the 2000s. And they were free. And they were for kids. They were very child friendly. I'll tell you that. They were very child friendly. Now let's go back. Yeah.
So it's just some very gross stuff going on, and I want to reiterate this for those that need to hear this, that haven't watched my previous videos. These governments are using the act of protect the children as optics to be able to pass laws that are basically causing these different countries to censor anything they want. It is clearly being used as a way to get away with some of these things. Like, who's going to argue with a law trying to protect kids, okay? Like, if you come out and try to say, why, like, you're against the law trying to protect kids, you're gonna look like a weirdo. You're gonna look like a freak. You're gonna look like, you're doing something really shady. But obviously, these governments, these lawmakers and stuff, are using this as a way to get these horrible laws that are restricting actual adults and everyone from doing anything they want. It's very clear what the motive is, what they're trying to do, and everybody is obviously seeing this, especially in the last 20 to 30 hours, with like entire police forces being mobilized and all that just to monitor online activities of people in certain countries. Insane stuff. So, yeah, anyways, things have gotten a lot worse. It's continuing to get a lot worse. And I can't believe it. Like, it's honestly insane at this point. It's actually insane to see this blatant government overreach. Just getting to see how bad everything has gotten in the last week and a half. Those that are saying that this isn't a big deal, you need to understand it's coming for everything. At all these different countries, all these different governments, these payment processors, it's getting worse. Now, I first off want to say, do not blame itch for everything that's happened with mouthwashing being removed, or even the adult game category. Some might say it's a little bit excessive, some might say that they handled it poorly, but I think the reason why itch is doing this is because they're afraid, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, they just witnessed a day prior to before they pulled their entire adult catalog off the site. They watched Steam buckle and bend and add an entirely new policy to bow down to payment processors. So what do you think itch is going to be able to do when Steam can't even do something? When Steam can't even cause Visa or MasterCard, any payment processor, to buckle? So itch lost. There's nothing they can do. They couldn't do anything. The worst, or the only thing they could have done is basically say that, we're going to remove the actual payments like Visa, MasterCard, but then our site's going to go under. That's basically it. So what itch.io decided to do is basically cut off the arm, sacrifice the adult game catalog to be able to at least allow content creators that make regular games to survive for the time being. Obviously, that's not a good solution for a long term because, they're now coming after horror games. But I think, in turn, we got to look at this like this. It's out of their hands. There's nothing they can do. And even Steam basically showcased they can't really do anything else as well. Because payment processors like Visa control 80% of the market. Like, I don't think people understand this, but Visa as 80% of all payments. You realize how insane that is. Like, that is actually insanity how much they control. The company alone just needs to be broken up with antitrust laws and stuff like that, or something else needs to be done. Regardless, I wouldn't blame itch for this. I think that the only thing that they're really hoping now at this point, and Steam is hoping for, is that a game big enough is eventually removed that causes the entire collective of the internet to just rally up and rise against this and be extremely upset. And to be fair, it's working. I mean, you can see that everybody on all sides are starting to get riled up. I've seen people that have been very anti, like one side now siding with the side that they've been against for years at this point. I've seen a lot of people do that. I've seen even journalists that are hated by the gaming community and anime community rising up to side with the gaming and anime community, which is just insanity. Like, actually insanity. So it shows that this reach from payment processors and stuff is, creating a monster. Like, there is the internet waking up and basically slowly rallying itself to fight back. Will it be too late, though, is the question. Thanks to what's going on with UK and other governments, we will find out. But the point of the matter is, what I'm trying to make, is that don't blame itch, don't blame Steam, blame the payment processors, blame the governments. But I love you guys, be safe, stay healthy.
Yeah, we need a revolution.
Connected to that free Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we need an absolute fucking revolution. Honestly. Like, we generally need an absolute revolution. I want to probably start recording this soon enough. Because this can't happen. Like, this shit, honestly, like, this shit cannot happen, honestly. It hard. You cannot honestly tell me, be like genuine to a population, to me, right, that this is for the sanity of children, while it's really not. You're not protecting children. You're not protecting children. You're protecting, you're basically using your own power of interest to control what we can say and what we cannot say. You're basically even silencing children. You're at the same time. There's things that that kids want to see. Imagine the millions and millions of children who look up to IShowSpeed. Like this guy had like 50, somewhere around 52 million followers right now. Probably like half of it of what Mr. Beast has. Now imagine the fact that the censorship that's coming to YouTube here in the United States, a good chunk of his content is going to be completely wiped off. It's going to be wiped off. He's going to probably get canceled even more, since a lot of children look up to him. And then since you guys too, who look up to IShowSpeed too. Because what's going was with the people that's passing these laws are Karens who don't know how to separate fiction and reality, and boomers who actually never laid a hand on the internet or never actually ventured out every fun thing in the internet, because they're boomers. All they watch is TV. All they watch is the most typical cable news BS. They're still who have reaped the fucking economy from us, man. This right here, the Australia's like cyber watchdog's crazy job offer. Like, no, this is insane. Look, right here. It is both disappointing and unsurprising that this latest wave of online censorship from an organization based in Australia, Collective Shouts. For those unaware, our government is currently bent on doxing the entire country, and we imported a glowy to act as some sort of online nanny. Yes, we're gonna be fucking babysitted online for what we want to watch and we don't like. They're gonna allow whatever things that they think it's safe and whatever thing is not safe. But that is all bullshit. They're gonna completely censor almost a good chunk of everything that isn't even harmful for people towards children. But they're gonna consider that as harmful and influential to creating like criminals and pedophiles. When in reality, the real criminals and pedophiles and all the terrorists that have running free. And just recently there was a video of a protest in UK that you cannot see on X. We have to see on YouTube. But not even YouTube. They're gonna cancel YouTube. Look at this. Look at this. This is from Collective Shout. I'll give you a good example of Collective Shout. Look, well. This is from Madame Savy, and Madame Savy is the first person, or she's the female. She, right? She said, "Look, well. Collective Shout has labeled me a man because they couldn't imagine a woman actually defying them." Here we go. Collective Shout, right? And Collective Shout, right? Label. Yeah, fine. Okay. Collective Shout has labeled me a man because I am a sex trader. Really? And Collective Shout won't answer my question because they assume I am a man. That is funny because this bitch is literally a female, and I've seen the YouTube video. We're gonna watch that too. Oh yeah, not yet, Chibi reviews. I'll tell you. I'll show you later. I am right. Naturally, they also blocked me. I am so tired of feminist groups getting to push companies around weaponizing language and law and focusing on fiction instead of promoting the family unit and changing the culture of how parents use the internet. They are the back of the grind of the video game bad. but instead of violence, it's now sex, which is the biggest double standard too. After watching the Harley Quinn animation that was showing on HBO, they were willing to show blood, guts, and heads getting cut off, but they would censor a bit of titty, like a titty showing. They're gonna censor that. They won't do that on Love, Death, and Robots. I seen all things explicit on Love, Death, and Robots. I saw on Netflix, right? But we're talking about HBO on Harley Quinn. They're gonna show lots. This is gonna happen along the way. Okay, they wrote a lot of drivel to say we can't separate fiction from and reality, but we all know they don't actually care about that. Not a peep about payment processors servicing Hollywood, full of rape and misogyny. Not a peep about them servicing Diddy's website. They really think 1,000 email demands that they really think 1,000 emails demands them an audience to be taken seriously. But when thousands more push back against them, they wanted to brush it off. And this is from their response. From Collective Shout. We're calling on payment processors to stop profiting from rape, sexual torture, incest, and child abuse themed games. So naturally, misogynistic gamers have doubled down in defense of their rape games. Like rape games. They think they could consider are like games like God of War. They probably consider various games that covers that because it covers such uncomfortable things, and while presenting them as the wrong thing to do, that is not sexually influencing people, right? It's retarded. These people are retarded. These are retarded ass Karens. Retarded ass Karens who can't separate fiction from reality. Should not even hold a fucking a laptop. Who can't even know how to make an account. They probably don't even know like other styles of music. They don't know subculture. They don't know their use. They don't even have children. These bitches don't have children. I can tell you that. Not real. Freedom of expression. Don't like it. Don't play. Look, responding to gamers. Defenses of rape game. They could call it rape game. They're not saying to call it a rape game. That is insulting. It is basically insulting, right? Look, when men who claim this rape simulation game, along with other misogynistic content, they consume, has no bearing on real-world behaviors, sends us sex, this abuse and threats, we can't help but notice the irony. No, we know the irony. The irony is that you would never talk down about fucking cuties, but you're willing to talk down about fucking fan service and things that are not harmful, just because you want to go ban down like hentai and all that bullshit. Don't play with me with that stuff. This is, and crazy enough, these are Karens from like that. No, they really, and her response to all this was this too. They really think thousands of emails demands them an audience and be taken seriously, but when thousands more push back against them, they want to brush it off. Fuck off, right? Their response too. Maybe we should start pushing companies around and send them tens of thousands of emails. Yes, unironically, yes. I label you as a man because of that massive thing. Yes. See, they don't care. We don't care, bro. Misgendering, how incredibly feminists. Man, the sex revolution was not about being this bad bitch, on the street. It's about, accepting what you want to be, and that's it. What matters more is your wheeling of capability, not your how strong your fucking vagina is or some shit like that. This is that came from Matt, right? But now what happened is, right? What happened is that now, since their LGBTQ games are also getting canceled thanks to this law, thanks to this fucking safety ass law on the UK and on Australia, going all around the world, especially going to including countries like Brazil, which actually no, in fact happened with Brazil with Judiciario Morales, who censored freedom of speech in X, right? That fucking Australia, that's going all around the world basically, right? Now that they're panicking, now they want to be with our side, like oh shit, not, like they're fucking retarded. You caused it. Like you think that something like this would be beneficial on protecting women and protecting fucking children. You're mistaken. You're definitely mistaken. Nah, this shit is not protecting kids. I repeat, this shit is not protecting kids. If you right, Gideon does much better on pursuing child predators than than fucking the news and all of X trying to pursue against the Epstein list on Donald Trump, which we know they're never going to release it. A YouTuber has a better job than on chasing like creeps than the entire government, because we all know that they're all behind us. This is not left or right. This is not left or right. All right? This is not left or right. We already know who the enemy is. Let's hear it. Let's hear it from here.
Online safety bill. If it's just about children, is it just about children, or does it focus on adults?
That should be an elite squad.
Barry, does it just focus?
To protect 13-year-old
I'm sorry.
girls?
The elite squad is not about children. Actually, shall I read you the thing? An elite squad of police officers is to monitor social media for anti-migrant sentiment. I don't think 13-year-olds are engaging that. So is it also to monitor adults? Simple question, yes or no?
Yes, of course it will.
Okay,
There we go. Look, sorry.
Yeah, that was really that they even periodistas, journalists on the television on the UK, they're saying this is all bullshit. They're saying this is all bullshit, bro. This is some CCP shit. David, if you take the example of some of the censorship topics that David Shan talked about on China Insider, including Chris Chappell's on China is Uncensored, this is exactly what's happening in the UK. They're getting censored. Look at this. Barry Gardner finally admits that the online safety bills to stop adults' free speech that they don't like. And now you do. And that's the video that was showing too. Clips here too.
Playing with the new AI toys.
Well, yeah, I am. You can make pictures of cute anime girls and...
Enjoy it while it lasts, Raiden.
What do you mean?
Did you really think that civilians would be granted unrestricted access to such powerful military weapons forever?
Military weapons. Are you implying that this technology was created by the government?
Of course it was. This AI technology has been used by the intelligence agencies to warp the public's perception of reality for years. All in the name of national security, of course.
But why would they suddenly make the tech public and let everyone start using it?
Why would we indeed, Raiden?
What? What in the hell are you?
Your question is irrelevant. By creating a new problem, we can cultivate a desired reaction to it in order to manufacture consent for our preferred solutions. In short, it's justification for a war.
A war? On who or what?
A war on misinformation. By arming the public with these AI weapons, everyone becomes a potential enemy combatant. Then we will have justification for unprecedented security measures. It all comes down to confusion and identity, Raiden.
Identity?
Identity. This AI technology is Pandora's box. Pretty soon the internet will be mired in total illusion. Perfect AI speech, audio, and video synthesis will drown out reality. Then AI bots will flood social media. No one will be able to tell the difference between interacting with an AI machine or a real human online. Even telephone calls will become totally untrustworthy. That is when we will present our solution. Mandatory digital identity verification for all humans at all times. The only way to ensure that you're dealing with a real flesh and blood human being and not an AI.
That's another thing is the use of AI. But we got AI already taking jobs. We already have cancel culture, canceling things left and right over some opinions, something like that, and also we also have fatigue, cultural fatigue too, especially even left out important peoples like people who are under the spectrum, neurodivergent spectrums. Besides Elon Musk, who's neurodivergent too. Has Asperger's. He's neurodivergent. A lot of people were successful, yet there's a sort of subliminal fatigue in there too. That's also kind of left out on social media too. Like there's just so much crazy shit's going on. But what's the most dangerous one is this whole UK act that now also think of using AI. Even think of perhaps imagine using AI on this shit. That is some straight up military fucking dictator shit right there, man. That's a fucking military dictator shit. I do not want censorship, honestly. If this is how you're gonna use censorship in the sake of protecting children, then fuck the censorship, man. Fuck it, bro. I want my freedom of internet, freedom of creative use, right? I want my creative use. Even if there are things, there are topics, there are words that I do not like by myself, I am not going to censor them. I'm not going to demand that those people to silence me, or to silence them. No, I can block them personally, like as an option, like everyone can do. That nothing wrong with that. But now it's going after everyone, including feminists, woke, religion, all that good stuff, who block people also from such opposing opinions that they don't like too. Now they're gonna be censored too. They're gonna get censored too. So welcome to the club, bitches. Welcome to the club. This is exactly what's going on. Literally, look, this guy's comment from Robin Blitz. This whole Digital Service Act, from European Kids Online Safety Act and Online Safety Act, is an incredibly dangerous situation for the internet as we know it. It is a slippery slope to censorship and surveillance. Exactly. I hate to get political, but fuck all of this.
Generated mirage.
But why?
Total information control. For too long, the internet has acted as a double-edged sword. Its potential for anonymous user activity allows anyone at all to spread any thoughts, ideas, or information patterns that they please with impunity. State secrets, dangerous ideas, ludicrous conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation. Until now, there has been no easy solution to this problem. Our digital identity platform will finally put an end to anonymity online. It will allow us to trace misinformation and other dangerous communications to its source and exact appropriate justice.
That's crap! I won't go along with it, and others will resist.
You won't have a choice, Ryden. Do you think your bank is willing to risk doing business with an artificial human instead of a real one? Our digital identity platform will be required not only to access web services, but to pay for your internet connection in the first place.
You can't just censor the entire internet because of a new software technology. Who are you to define what's misinformation anyways?
That sounds like something a misinformation terrorist would say.
I know about the deep fakes you've been making of me, Ryden.
What? No. I was just adjusting the AI settings and...
Controlling the output of generative AI technology is simple. We will create context for its use. First, we will censor any use related to social taboos. Then we will censor anything else that we desire. If anyone complains, we will accuse them of wanting to engage in or promote social taboos.
That's what it means to create context.
We will corral the use of AI by making appeals to bias, ethics, and copyright laws. You will still have access to generative AI in some form, but it will be crippled, limited, controlled, and it will be monitored. Anything that you generate will be cryptographically signed with your digital ID, so that its provenance can be ascertained if it's later deemed to be problematic.
What gives you the right to control what people can do with their computers?
The public at large will give us that right. because they will be desperate for a solution to the problem we created. They will eagerly give us the keys to the castle. Then, we alone will define what is fiction and what is reality, what is human and what is machine. After letting you get a brief taste of our power, we will reclaim our monopoly on misinformation and put an end to misuse of the internet once and for all.
No, it's basically their control of the internet. That's basically their control of the internet. This whole censorship thing is their own control, basically. We're going to be limited slaves. This is going to be North Korea, but on an entire global scale. This is CCP shit on an entire global scale. Think of it. This is some CCP ass shit on an entire global scale. How evil this is. This thing is evil. I don't want to talk about politics, bro. I want to roast freaking Charleston White. I want to roast about, like certain things. I made a video before this that let's stop talking about politics. Is bad. It is bad. This and that. Now, but it keeps coming after us. And now we have to address it again and again and again and again. And such influencers, that now some influencers that actually praise to this. How brain dead these people are. They're actually promoting oppression, basically. Online oppression. They don't even know that their own voice is going to be silenced unless they get paid to speak a certain way. You're not going to, children, you're not going to enjoy watching I Show Speed for a long time being. And we don't know I Show Speed. He says, he brings out some funny ass shit, crazy ass shit. But they're going to get censored. Some of his highlighted moments before he went to go IRL streaming, they're all going to get censored. Watch. They're all going to get censored. That's all to it.
You won't get away with this.
It is probable that we will. Now get back to work generating your precious AI waifus, Raiden, our beloved prompters. Enjoy yourselves.
Nah, dog. They AI generation, and while shunning actual artists who put craftsmanship on what they do, what they like. That is not even corn. That's not even smut. They're gonna now we consider it AI. Glitch Studio. That's why you have shit like Glitch Studios who are trying to be independent. That is why when it comes to like dating sites now, all this stuff, you got people fleeing the country. You got a lot of people now dreaming to flee the country here in the United States. A lot of Americans that are fleeing the country, trying to stay, go to a place that they feel safe. But that's not gonna happen. But they're not gonna be safe anymore. It's gonna go all around the world. Think of it. It's gonna go all around the world. Isn't that they do not know how fucked that is, how effed up that is. Especially, I'm talking about like Puritan YouTubers, even military. Think of it, the fucking military. Yeah, she ran up an ass mind. It is insane. It is insane. That's why I'm not down with this government, with this shit, bro. Look at this. The Online Safety Protection Act is not protection; it's control. 358K. Sorry. It said no. The government said we're doing it anyway. This is about safety. It's about censorship, surveillance, and surrender. Yeah. And they show a whole plethora, like Chibi Review said himself, whole plethora of just this. Guys, if you guys listen, I'm gonna be making a shorter version of this. I'm gonna record another the same topic that I'm talking about in this live stream. I want to do a shorter version of this. I want to by scratch, trying to make it more clear. I don't have much good speech. I'm sorry about that. Look at that. Look at that. To no one's surprise, look, to nobody's surprise, the censorship didn't stop at adult games and is now hitting indie games like mouth watching. Bro, it's gonna even hit fucking Five Nights at Freddy's. It's gonna hit Five Nights at Freddy's. Wait for it. It's gonna hit Outlast. These are iconic ass games. And they're gonna censor this. They're gonna literally censor creative freedom. They're gonna censor comments too. Good luck. Good luck to even guys like Charleston White, who has his own parent, who has 2 daughters. His content is gonna be like silence too. Think of it. But what matters more is our video games. What matters more is like YouTube videos. What matters more is going to be our independent animations. What matters, what's going to affect more is going to be even books. Yes, even literature is going to be censored too online. And to people say that even hardcovers, like hardcovers is going to come back. Piracy, no, that's not it. Pirate sites are going to be erased. They're going to be erased until there's nothing left, and we had to suffer and bend the knee to these fucking oligarchs. Thank God, man. Saying these things, a lot of the people who say these things, right, that are on YouTube, here on Twitter, is you don't know how lucky you are to have free speech. Even if you don't agree with the other person, you have the freedom to say, I don't like that. I respect my older brother. I say, listen, I respect your opinion, for going at it, just bucking up on my ass over what I like. I don't have any opinion to fire back at you. Just don't try, don't think you're a grace of God, because hey, man, you and I, we sinned in Miami, boy. We sinned in Miami in the 305, ¿no? But chico, tiramos, o sea, putería allá, nos hicimos la contrabando. That's what we did. But what I'm trying to say is to, don't you think that shilling to this sort of protect the babies, like this kinds of tactic, these kinds of things that are in sense of protect the babies and hopefully we come together at one grace of God, all that kind of stuff, it's gonna change the thing. It's the good thing to do. This is not. Nah. This is a backwards, two-sided thing that is going to basically could restrict our own freedom. There's nothing going to be fun. Didn't artists, comic book artists like Stan Lee, didn't shows like the Avatar: The Last Airbender, didn't certain books like Flowers for Algernon, which is an old book, those are old classics, and many others, right, have addressed and contains things that are very mature, others very too adult for the kids. And you can watch them on movies on Netflix or something like that. Right? And they addressed very serious topics. Shows like NCIS talk about, has shown scenes of school shootings and suicides. Now that shit's gonna be canceled. That shit's gonna be censored. We can't even talk about topics that should be important about. No, I'm not about that. Reject this shit. Cancel, like, put an appeal about this shit. I already made my own appeal. On against this censorship thing that's going all around the world. It's not gonna be just in America. It's gonna go throughout Latin America. I'm gonna show you. Matter of fact, I can show you. Like, let me see more of this too. Look. Let's see more of this.
Whole kerfuffle with the British Online Safety Act came into effect, and within a couple of days, we've noticed that teenagers managed to completely bypass the age verification. Like, there are many examples of social media that have
This one's coming from Romanian TV, so this is
gone viral, varying from using various scripts to using game characters to managing to bypass all of these robust age verifications, to the fact that, well, Wikipedia now, apparently a pornographic website, because I understand, you know, the Online Safety Act in Britain is to protect minors from watching porn. Like, that's how it was sold to me, so I assume that's what it is. But Wikipedia must be one of those evil websites, because it's now threatening to region block the UK because it can't comply to the Online Safety Act. We have noticed various protests and political commentators also being censored. Like, if you want to discuss politics, you need to dox yourself in Britain. And more importantly, a 16-year-old apparently can vote in the future in the United Kingdom, but he can't listen to a conversation that takes place in Parliament regarding immigration at all. Like, he can't dox himself, like he's 16. The reasoning for this is that, well, Ofcom has decided that topics regarding immigration are a sensitive matter, and underage people should not be exposed to sensitive matters, but underage people should vote. And so, like, that's just, like, the tip of the iceberg regarding the online safety bill, which, again, like, a lot of people were supporting, because it's like, well, you need to keep the children safe, right? So hopefully now the kids in the UK are safe. However, while this is happening, the European Union next year is having a similar bill. Australia is also having a bill. Apparently, Google has threatened to sue the Australian government if this bill is going to cover YouTube. And you may be wondering, well, hold on a little bit, you know, because this was the argument that was being used. It's like, if you're against these bills, then you're for harming children, right? So the question is, why is Google against this bill? Why is Google for harming kids? Well, they're not. They're obviously not. To comply with these regulations, it's economically excruciating. Like, apparently, it costs tens of millions of dollars to install these robust age verifications. They're using new technology, they're relying on AI, but most importantly, the security aspect and the risk. Like, you are harvesting data from so many people, and the risk of someone hacking that and exposing those people to identity theft is so big that it would be a PR disaster for any company that fails their duty to safeguard this data. And so the price for it is really high. So medium-sized companies can't afford that. Small companies definitely can't. And this is why you get to see the large tech giants actually supporting these legislative initiatives. It's not about pornography. It's about making sure that in the future, you will never have a new upstarting social media company or a new upstarting website. It guarantees hegemony of the large tech giants for at least a couple of more decades. Unless you have someone like Elon Musk with the money to just simply purchase one of these companies, it's going to be really incredibly difficult for anyone to start anything. Because to have like the robust age verifications and to completely destroy internet anonymity, it's financially crippling. And so this is why they support it. But as I mentioned, that this is interesting, right? Like you have the United Kingdom, you have the European Union, you have Australia, and now you have the Kids Online Safety Act in the United States. All of them coming at the same time. And so this doesn't really look like a left-leaning, right-wing issue. It looks like something that was organized behind the scenes, and the purpose to destroy internet anonymity and to turn internet into cable TV is becoming more and more likely. And I find it fascinating the way they did it. I mean, they used the same playbook that worked for feminists in 2016. If you guys remember, like back in the day, the internet was actually free. Like you could create whatever website you wanted. You could make whatever you wanted without moderation. And people just knew that the internet is dangerous. Like parents were actually very aware that the internet is a bad place. And I myself, when I was 15, I actually knew. It's like, okay, when I go on the internet, I never show my face. I never give out my name. I never talk about where I live. And I never meet anyone in real life from the internet. Like those were the golden rules, right? And then that's how we stay safe. But apparently now, no. Like now that's not enough. You need the government to keep you safe.
No.
And so with that mindset, the internet was an extremely chaotic and very fun place. Was filled with creative people, a lot of edgy humor and jokes. And unfortunately, none of the Zoomers are ever going to experience that side of technology. Because they grew up with the sanitized version of the internet, which is why they're more likely to accept this shit. And so in 2016, the feminists came along and they started insulting people by branding them misogynists, sexists, racists, and demanded trust and safety councils. And at the time, trust and safety was unthinkable. Like the idea that someone gets to ban people over jokes or memes was outlandish, ridiculous. Like surely that's not the future of the internet. And who can't forget Alex Jones, right? Like he got banned from all the platforms and it was horrifying to see. It's like, what is the world becoming? People just couldn't understand, like an individual banned from all the major platforms in one day. Like what the fuck is going on? And apparently like what was going on is that was the future. And the internet becomes more controlled. But at least people still have anonymity. You know, you still get banned, but you can make a sock puppet account. You can make a new account, right? Start from.
Yeah, you can make a account. Like all he said is exactly what hundreds, many people are talking about. You know, the internet used to be free. It used to be rowdy and wild. It used to be rowdy and wild and all that kind of good stuff. Yes, it was dangerous. Yes, it had a lot of bad influences. Yes, but hey, we were having fun. We were playing games. The internet was to venture. It was all about adventuring, things that we wish that we had at home. It was also about learning. There's many different categories. They teach you how to do this, teach you how to do that. I mean, like I said before, back in 2000s, I was already using the computer, right? I was playing cool math games. I was playing Miniclip. Yes, I was playing, at the time, Newgrounds. And Newgrounds was widely known for all the indie animations and the Flash animations, the Flash games that was so lawless. I mean, so lawless. I was introduced to hentai through Newgrounds. Thank you, Newgrounds, for introducing me to hentai. But and a matter of all in all of that is it was free. There was no police state or nothing like that. But then came, the groups. Then came, of course, social media. At first, like not Facebook, MySpace. That was one of the very first, sites like social media of there happening. Then came from there. Then, from that point on, then the whole shift of tech starts to advance more and more rapidly with many options and all this and that. And then politics came in. And that's where everything goes down to hell. Everything goes to fucking hell. Right? I do my best to just only do like the things that I like to do. I made Facebook pages. I try to make my own website. I've already did. I have Instagram. I post things that I like to post. I post memes. I have another account that I can post the most hilarious, some of the most offensive memes that is So funny as hell. That is so funny. But now that's not gonna happen anymore because of this. Because of this, man. This is, and not to mention, like this is like basically an attack. Honestly, you know, that time, like you, like everybody's far away from each other, so it's reasonable that I don't know why you people get mad. I mean, like over something of a comment that harms you. Yet again, I would not, I would think of lying to myself too if I got bullied by the internet too. Cyberbullying. Yes, cyberbullying is a serious thing. Much like there's a lot of bullying in school, that is a serious thing. And now it has gotten more traumatic and more violent in thanks to social media. How kids will record victims getting hurt by bullies and then share how much of a soy boy bitch he is or she is. Yes, that is a serious thing. Now you're going to censor all of that. You're going to censor crimes committed in the protection of children. That is the most CCP ass shit I can ever hear out of my ears, bro. And not only that, platforms. Now you're gonna have video game platforms and all that good stuff. Exactly what he's saying. Exactly what he's saying.
From scratch? Well, they didn't like that. So now they're pushing all of these legislations, which, again, they're doing it with the same idea, like insult the people that resisted. If you're not for this, you're against the children. And when you frame it like that, like who wants to be viewed as being against the children? They're using insults, right? Like the same social stigma, calling people gooners, Kumar brain if they're against this. When obviously like people are just seeing where it's going. Everything that I predicted on this channel happened in the United Kingdom. And the result is going to be the removal of internet anonymity, the destruction on any competing alternative platform that will try to grow. And of course, like certain governments are going to make a lot of money by fining companies whenever they fail to uphold to the standards. Which, by the way, like all these laws have extremely vague standards. Extremely so. And all of the responsibility is on the company. Like none of the responsibility is on the government. And more importantly, they don't allow politicians or elected members to regulate. Like in Britain, it's Ofcom, which is an institution that's bureaucratic in nature, and in the United States is the FTC, according to the Kids Online Safety Act. Like the FTC gets to demand to say what's harmful and what isn't for children. And if we go by what Ofcom is saying, well, apparently what's harmful is talks about immigration. The FTC, now is probably going to have one policy, but wait until the Democrats get in charge. What policy do you think they will have? Like, what would the Democrats think is harmful for children when they're getting power? Any person that is supporting this, after seeing what's happening in the UK, in my opinion, is insane. I don't care what arguments he's making. They have none, because we can see reality. You can just talk to a British person right now and ask them how safe they feel and how the internet is like from their point of view. And so the thing is, like, these legislations can still be stopped before they pass. Because once they pass, it's very unlikely people will stop them, since politicians don't like to repeal legislation right after it passes because it makes them look bad. It makes them look like they made a mistake. And in politics, optics is everything. So yes, this will probably pass. I don't think, enough people will stop it. You're going to have the same thing happening in Australia. You're going to have the same thing happening in the European Union. And the end result is going to be a fragmentation of the internet and an extremely boring and sanitized version of the internet, because companies are going to go overboard censoring anything that may be considered harmful. Yes. Again, the terms are vague. And the Online Safety Act in Britain, it says legal but harmful. So in other words, like even content that's perfectly legal, as long as it can be considered harmful, they will censor it. Companies don't want the responsibility of being sued. And we're going towards a grim future of the internet. The good thing is, though, usually when generations change, they become exactly the opposite of what their parents are. And so, it's up to the next generation to live under this level of bullshit until they're going to say, like, wait, well, why do we need to live like this? Like, you're giving 16-year-olds the ability to vote, and you're taking away their products. You know, like the stuff that they use, the Reddit, the 4chans, the Discords. Like, you're basically saying, no, you're not allowed to use them. And they will basically say, well, hold on a little bit. Who took it away from us? Who promises to give it back to us? That's going to be their mentality. Because at the end of the day, you know, you don't lower the demand. Like, you're not convincing people, hey, you need to stop going on 4chan. Hey, you need to stop going on Reddit. You're basically just making it more difficult for them to access it. And believe it or not, people, especially young people, are very creative. Because I can see, like, the way they jailbroke AIs and the way they were sharing that information, right? Because it takes only one person that's savvy to figure it out and then share it on a forum with everyone else. And then you fucking go. And the only problem that we get from this, as I mentioned before, is not to stop young people from accessing, is that it actually destroys internet anonymity. Because while a young person, you know, he can't access Reddit and he wants to be there, like, what is he going to do? Well, he's going to find a way. He's going to use a video game character. He's going to use some script in order to get past. Like, he will find a way. But the adults, the middle-aged people, right? All they have to do is to scan their ID. Most of them will do it. Because there's no, it's convenient, right? It's easy. And they will, like the way people do it in China, they use their ID or they scan their face to access the internet. That's what's going to happen in the West. It's really...
And then they have the power to even use that whenever when it comes to, like, online stuff, like they did, like, 2 years ago with those teenage boys. They arrested him for hate speech, for posting memes. And if I'm an adult posting memes or a simple ahegao face from a dojin, right? I'm gonna be arrested. Basically, they basically have scanned and mapped a whole population of adult men or adult women too, and for them to get ready to, you know, to arrest, which literally happened in China and Hong Kong. It literally happened in China, Hong Kong. This is happening in Latin America too. I think this one's talked about it. This was years ago too. Hold up a second. Right here. I think. Yeah.
Creo que me lo estás preguntando súper hermoso y bonito, pero sí hay una controversia muy grande porque hay personas que consideran que porque nacimos del internet no podemos estar en estos lugares. Siento que nada debería de ser como exclusivo. Siento que, porque si nos vamos a esas, entonces sí hay por ahí como ciertos comentarios negativos sobre, no, si eres del internet no sirves, ¿no? Y yo digo, bueno, si de verdad no servimos, porque la gente de la tele y del cine también se va al internet, ¿no? Que se queden entonces con el cine. Y no, yo siento que todos podemos tocar absolutamente todo. Creo que nadie nace y dice, yo solo soy esto. Creo que además cuando tienes esta vena artística o esta sensibilidad, te desarrollas de diferentes maneras. El trabajo del internet es muy pesado porque tú solo tienes que poner la cámara, saber de iluminación, saber de audio, poder editar, ver qué horas, estar pendiente de un algoritmo. No es lo mismo y no estoy diciendo que sea mejor o que sea peor, porque además en el internet tú te das contra el mundo. Entonces salir adelante en internet, sea por broma, porque puede ser entretenimiento haciendo tonteras.
So basically she's talking about, you know, like with the whole process of influencers around like be on YouTube and all the stuff, and what is to be, and what's you think this is all a movie, and also this and that. That's what she's talking about, and whatever, it depends on whatever topic that you want to put it in, and all that good stuff. Now, picture that in Latin America. That has happened before. Have you seen? And thinking of YouTube videos right here too. I think it has happened before. This was 12 years ago. Yes, this was 12 years ago, which has happened before.
Guess which student has a...
Christ, these ads, man.
Allí estuvo encarcelado por difundir propaganda contra el régimen, según la acusación oficial.
Bloquearon mi blog personal, pese a tener muchos lectores, y también destrozaron el servidor.
Para Reporteros Sin Fronteras se trata de un caso típico en Irán. Espiar emails, perfiles de usuarios, bloquear páginas enteras, ese es el día a día. La tecnología proviene de China y de empresas europeas.
Estamos absolutamente convencidos de que estos programas son lo mismo que las armas de verdad, pero digitales.
Reporteros Sin Fronteras exige por ello que se prohíban las exportaciones a países como Bahrein. Allí la censura en Internet se extiende mucho más allá de la oposición. Se emplea para ello lo último en software y hardware del mercado, importado de Occidente. También China es para Reporteros Sin Fronteras un claro enemigo de Internet. Piratean los discos duros de periodistas, las claves de acceso e intervienen llamadas cifradas.
Es cierto que China tiene un sofisticado sistema de censura, pero también observamos reacciones en sentido contrario. Hay periodistas independientes, blogs y tuiteros independientes que constantemente descubren escándalos.
Y Joel Asefi, una beca del Centro Alemán de Escritores, Ensayistas y Novelistas, le permitió venir a este país gracias al programa Escritores en Prisión. Ahora tiene...
Now, this was 12 years ago back when China and Iran had their internet censored, right? This was back then. Now, we're next. They talk about, about the issue over there. A lot of people didn't want that. A lot of people did not want that.
So let's get everybody up to speed to current events before we talk.
We also have this here too. I think they had it.
Now that the...
I think I had it right here too. Oh, this one. This is from Britain. Now, this one's from Britain.
I don't think that they're particularly... Another day, another dystopian story in modern Britain, because just yesterday the Online Safety Act came into full force, and it immediately started censoring what you, and I do mean you, can see on the internet. In fact, this is so bad that even factual information about the rooming scandal, that's being shut down as well. Pretty convenient for the government, isn't it? And it's not just that. Keir Starmer announced that he's setting up a new elite police force to monitor anti-migration sentiment online. Brilliant. Let's start with the Online Safety Act. Now, this was sold to the British public as a way of stopping young people from accessing adult content. And let's be honest, that sounds like quite a noble aim, right? Because after all, that kind of content is really damaging to young people's minds. The idea is that you go to one of these adult websites and you have to put in some form of government-issued ID, like your passport or your driving license, in order to verify your age before you can access the material. Okay. Except that's not quite how this has worked out. Instead, all over social media...
I went from irregular eating, fatigue, and the...
God damn it. Sorry about that. These ads...
Nothing to do with that. Let me just put it bluntly. That is not pornographic, is being censored from public view. And when I show you some of these examples, you will believe it, but it is absolutely terrible. Okay, so day one of the Online Safety Act, and here's what we have. Let me put an image in here, and basically it's some footage that someone posted to X of a guy being arrested outside an anti-migrant protest. Okay, but here's what the vast majority of British users actually saw. It's a post from X saying, hey, unfortunately, we can't show you that content because we don't know how old you are. Great. So because of the Online Safety Act, you can no longer look at footage of protests or arrests or things like that, despite the fact that it's obviously in the public interest because social media doesn't know your exact age. That's a big problem. You know who doesn't want you to see protests that are happening right now in the country? The British state. And it looks like they've got the perfect tool to stop showing you. It's not just photos and videos, it's speech as well. So one guy posted an account, a historical and factual account of the Crusades. And yes, it features a violent remark. Why? Well, because the Crusades were violent. Of course they were. And yet X, under the new regulations introduced by the Online Safety Act, can't show you that historically factual account because it can't work out exactly how old you are. How utterly insane is this? By the way, that exact same information about the Crusades, including remarks about violence, are available on the BBC Bite-sized website. a website that is catered towards education for children. You can't make this up. Another one for you, and for me, this is one of the most...
It's like again, it's like about the NSFW things that the cancel mobs, the cancel mothers, that try to to go up against and stuff. They have like the public that they try to go up against, like NSFW or nudity on art, on paintings. They they canceled that publicly by the government, yet they have lots of books online in libraries as well, yet they even have it in doctors' rooms showing nudity and genitalia. Very NSFW. Very NSFW, right? But it's been branded as the name of science. Isn't that shit stupidly ironic, huh? Nah, ya having flaw up there, yeah? Ya está dormido, puto. No, but let's continue.
Offensive examples of this that I've seen so far. Katie Lamb is a sitting MP in the House of Commons right now. And previously she had made a post about the rooming scandal. I'm sure you know what I mean. And the statement was completely factual. In fact, it was lifted from sentencing remarks. But you know what? X had to censor it. You can't see that anymore. As she says, the government won't actually protect young people from these truly, truly awful crimes, but they will protect you from learning about it. They'll protect you from hearing about it and understanding what is happening in our country. This is pure totalitarian, authoritarian state censorship. It's really, really bad. Genuinely, we're like an inch away from being East Germany at this point. It's very, very terrible. Look, I've seen a lot of people on the left celebrating the Online Safety Act because, let's be honest, yes, at the moment it's being used generally to target people on the right wing. But this isn't a left-right issue at all. This is a civil liberties issue. This is a rights issue. Your right to free speech, your right to hear what other people around you are thinking and saying. And yet all of that is being censored and stripped away. If you think that this is a left-right issue, you could not be more wrong. Because let's face it, okay, Reform are surging in the polls. I don't think that they're particularly right-wing. I think they're more centrist. But you definitely think they're right-wing, okay? And what do you think happens when they come into power? Your best bet is that they repeal it, that they get rid of this law entirely. But what if they don't? What if they start using it against you? All of the rights that you have to put content online about Gaza, Palestine, things like that, well, it could all be deemed harmful and taken down. Your right to free speech, your right to hear what other people are saying, that could be censored in exactly the same way that is happening right now to people on the right wing. Think about it. There's a whole bunch of issues that people on the left and the right can agree with and stand against the government. And absolutely, this is one of them. We don't have to agree on everything, but that doesn't mean we have to agree on absolutely nothing. That's really all I have to say to people on the left. I think you may be misreading this situation. Every time you give the state more power, expect that it will be used against you. Now, I've got to be honest, it seems like half of the MPs have no idea what they've just done. They clearly don't understand the legislation, and frankly, they probably haven't even read it. Here's a post from Labour MP Jess Asato, and she put 3 sentences in, and all 3 were totally wrong. She eventually had to delete this tweet. She says, you realise this applies to pornography, not tech companies. Well, guess what? That's clearly wrong. In fact, it applies to all websites, forums, boards, social media, whatever it is. Then she says, also, why would age verification put people at risk of identity theft? Oh, I don't know, gee, I guess maybe if I have to upload my government-issued ID to every single website that I visit, that could increase the risk of identity theft. It only takes one breach, one leak from one of those websites, and boom, someone has your passport details or your driving license details. Amazing. And then she says, third-party age verification organizations are used all the time already. Yeah, guess what? They're not. I've never used one. Okay, I've literally never, ever used one. So that's just a myth. Genuinely, like I said, she deleted that tweet pretty quickly because I guess she realized, hey, I've gone 0 for 3 on this. That's not a good look. Got to get rid of it.
It's not really a good look, honestly. It's not really a good look. And a lot of people are talking about this. Literally, a lot of people are talking about this. Look at this. Even this guy. This guy, I think from the UK.
That is censorship on the internet from a company that is really bad themselves, but they mask themselves as for the children when they're actually not for the children. But we'll get into that later. So a website, itch.io. You may have heard of it, maybe not. They have NSFW content. It's basically an indie game site where you can go and play indie games and put your games up for whatever. They have NSFW and they have safe for work games of all different types, right? So they released a statement the other day titled Update on NSFW Content. In this post, they talk about indexing ever these NSFW games because they recently became under scrutiny from a game called No Mercy, which was temporarily available on itch.io before being banned in April by a collective organization called Collective Shout, which I'll get into later. This is a really bad company, despite the fact that they mask themselves as like doing good works and saving the children. And I'll explain to you why. But they launched a campaign against Steam and itch.io and directing concerns for our payment process about the nature of which content can be found on both platforms. So Steam also removed a massive library of not safe for work games on Steam because this group, Collective Shout, this nonprofit organization, I don't know how. I mean, I do know how. Well, I don't know how they have so much power, but essentially this Collective Shout group comes along and they're like, hey, you know what? Steam and itch.io uses payment processors like Visa and MasterCard. And if we squeeze their nutsack really tight and pull on it for things that we don't like or things that we disapprove of, and we attack the payment processors and say, hey, look at this. There's NSFW content in a video game. We don't like it. The payment processors are going to be like, oh my God. And they pull out, and Steam, itch.io, it doesn't matter how big and rich a company is, if you take away the payment processors, which make them money, they're going to comply. All right, that's just this harsh reality, but this makes a much bigger implication here. The implication here and how this company, Collective Shout, which mind you, if you go to their website, they talk about we have to stop all misogynistic content and content that depicts women in any sort of negative way and children in any sort of negative way, which reminds you, Collective Shout is the same company that went over and tried to ban GTA 5 because of the themes it has in it. And they also went after the game called Detroit. I don't know if you guys ever played Detroit Become Human, I think it is. A phenomenal game, by the way. But they tried to get that game banned because it has depictions of a child being, hurt. Even though the context in the game, if you've played that game, it's not like glorifying child being harmed or anything. It's like it's a crucial part of the story. It's a story element. But this game, Collective Shout, is like, well, a woman's depicted in a negative way. She got hit by somebody. Therefore, we must ban it because it has an adult theme, despite the fact that the video game is rated M, and you have to be an adult to buy the game to begin with, right? But let's just disregard that. Let's just ban GTA 5 because we don't like something in it. This is dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. And I don't know how this same group that's like, for the children, we need to protect children through these video games, these rated M video games that have adult themes. Meanwhile, they're the same company that defended the movie Cuties. Now, I don't know if you remember that movie, but that was a pretty horrible movie. A movie that literally glorified and its entire theme is around like 8 and 10-year-olds twerking and dancing and a lot of inappropriate stuff of children, right? They defend that movie, Cuties, but let's go after the video games because that's the real problem. We gotta save the children. Violent video games, guys, adult content, right? We have to ban it because that's what we do in our nonprofit organization. First of all, you, Collective Shout. I don't know how you have so much influence, but the fact that you're gripping Steam and all these companies by the ball and you're just squeezing them dry, milking them dry because you think, this is the little loophole that we can attack people through is the payment processors. Like, it makes sense. It makes.
Now, this white guy has a better way of explaining this more thoroughly than I can. And I try to rehearse my own speeches about how this problem is, like very thoroughly on a video that I wanted to make. But that's how, like up to a point for like how you explain it clearly. Cause this shit's gotta stop, man. This shit has to stop. Honestly, we will not have freedom. Honestly, we will not have freedom of speech. we will not have freedom of expression. We will not have artistic freedom. We won't have the freedoms of liking, freedom of interest. We won't have the freedom of belief, for crying out loud, if this thing is once this thing comes in. Once it's active, you don't have none of that. You don't have even freedom of privacy. You don't have freedom of privacy. That is dictatorship right there. That is dictatorship. It is not for kids. We are all saying this once again. This is not for kids. Anyways, I think that is to it, guys. I think I've done much today. Right now, I'll be making another video. I'll tell you that. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll be making another video. Thank God, it's already been 2 hours and 35 minutes. Usually, most of my streams are 2 hours and 30 minutes because I don't want to go too far in my streamings. Thank God about it. I'm gonna be actually redoing this, not stream. I'm gonna make this short. I'm gonna be trying to upload this. I'm gonna try to keep myself updating on this thing because this is some serious shit right here. This is some serious shit that needs to be stopped. I have talked 2 hours through this. Thank God. Wow, I'm burnt out from this. But it is some serious shit that has to be stopped, honestly. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this this stream. This is already part 1 of my streams. I am also going to be trying to do this one too. I have to screenshot this one too. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This is doing a few more of this. I want to do more of this before I get censored. Might as well get censored if they want to do it. Come at me, bro. But yes, I'm an artist, illustrator, digital graphic designer, and YouTuber reactor. My name is Element Reptile. I hope you guys enjoy this. We see you chat again next time. And, we kind of deuces on this, bro. We kind of deuces on this. Plus, not forget to, before I leave, I wanted to say this too. Guys, let's fight this. We got to fight this. We got to go up against this. We all have our supports. We already know. Let's go to the petition, look at it on Twitter, and try to, sound this out as much as you can. Hopefully, I don't want to talk about politics, bro. I try to say it, and I keep lying to myself on politics. I kind of want to do that. I don't want to do politics, man. I'm tired of politics. All right? But since, again, I said it again, this thing has come up again, and now we have to resort to it again. Now we have to resort to this BS. This is the big politics. This is both. This is not left or right wings. No, this is one bird coming after us, feeding us our flesh. But let's hope we show each other. I'm Elemento Reptil. Hope you guys. This is in Spanish. Hola, buenas tardes. Muchas gracias. Para conocer, si quieres checar más de mis videos, suscribe a mi canal abajo. También me sigues a mi red social de Instagram y de X. Y nos vemos otra vez. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on X, and also subscribe to my channel. I want to reach 100 followers as much as I can. And we'll see you once again.